Hello viewers, and welcome to Exploring Cinema with Brian Meadows. I, of course, am Brian. Today's review is a continuation on my 2017 Best Picture nominee series. I'm finally getting back to it, after all this time where I just needed to focus on the new releases that were coming out. I can finally start back on the series that I've already started. So today's review is on the science fiction film from 2016 called Arrival. When mysterious aircraft touch down all across the globe, an elite team led by expert linguist Louise Banks are brought together by the US government to investigate, who these visitors are. And as mankind teeters on the verge of global war, Banks and the team race against time for the answers, and to find them, Banks herself will actually have to take a chance that could threaten her own life, as well as humanity as a whole. One great thing about this film is just how intimate the story is, mainly focusing on three characters. First, we have the two main leads. We have Amy Adams playing Louise Banks, who is one of the world's leading linguists, who happens to be a teacher at a Massachusetts university. I'm really not sure which one. And she's the main protagonist of the film. And then we have Jeremy Renner. We have Hawkeye playing Ian Donnelly, a mathematician who begins working with Louise once they are recruited by the government. And both actors perform their roles pretty well, with Adams giving the strongest performance. I do have one complaint about Renner's character, and it's on how he's written. Even though he's supposed to be a very intelligent man, there's a lot of moments where he's reduced to being a minor comic relief, and it didn't work for me at all. A lot of stupid shit happens that's really not funny. There's even one scene where Donnelly falls on his face, and it's for the stupidest reason I've ever seen. And you can tell that the two actors were devoted to their roles because they seem to operate on little to no sleep with very little makeup, and as the film goes on, it literally, it actually does begin to look like they've started neglecting showers due to the stress that they're under. Lastly, we have Forrest Whitaker playing Colonel Weber of the U.S. Army, and if you like Whitaker as an actor, you'll enjoy him in this film. To me, he's just basically playing Forrest Whitaker with a bit of a southern twang in his voice. Arrival is a very different type of alien invasion movie. I wouldn't even call it an invasion movie, really. It doesn't really have the many cliches of films like Contact, E.T., or Independence Day. It does, however, include the hallmarks of films like Silent Running and 2001: A Space Odyssey. From that era of artist-driven science fiction films. Instead of focusing on mainly the alien invasion, which, without spoilers, as I said, it's not an alien invasion. The film instead focuses more on the world's reaction and how we as humanity would act if this type of event occurred. And this film has scenes that rely on flashbacks, which at first may seem to slow down the film, but after a couple of viewings, you really get to see why those scenes were put in the film in the first place, and it actually helps with the storytelling element. And, again, without any spoilers, I will say that there is a sort of plot twist in this film, and because of it, Arrival is one of those films that you really need to sit on for about a day or two to really think, what does the twist mean to you? Is it unique and different and good, or is it just annoying? Honestly, like I said, I suggest you guys, if you're interested in watching it, just taking a day or so just to think about it. As for me, after 5 watches total, I will say that I love the twist, and I think that it is very new and refreshing. This is one of the most unique concepts for a science fiction film in decades, and I believe that for that reason, this film will be a classic down the line. This film doesn't really rely too much on visual effects. The exceptions are the spacecraft themselves and the aliens, which is honestly a good thing, because that means more practical effects and a more realistic feel, and that's good enough for me. And the spacecraft is of a very unique design that I had never seen before in film, or even in other forms of media like video games, or even described in novels. Even the alien designs felt a bit original and different. I won't spoil what either of them look like just in case you don't know, but I will say that I absolutely love their design, and I think you guys will too. My absolute favorite aspect of this film, hands down, is the cinematography. Bradford Young serves as the cinematographer for Arrival, and I had previous knowledge of his work because of films like Selma and A Most Violent Year, so I was excited to see what he would do with this film, and it is beautifully shot, with my favorite scene being where the camera is panning over the ground below, from a helicopter view, showing large pockets of traffic stopped at a military checkpoint, and then it transitions to show the spacecraft for the first time, and it is one of the most iconic scenes in science fiction already, I feel. Because of his work in this film, Young was actually hired to be the cinematographer on the currently untitled Han Solo film for Lucasfilm and Disney, and he is one of the reasons that I'm still, excited about the movie. I mean, I just hope that they don't fire him too. The film is directed by Denis Villeneuve, and he is a very talented and upcoming director. He did a fantastic job with films like Sicario, a personal favorite of mine, and Prisoners. I still haven't seen his film Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal, but I'm really excited to see it. And of course, he did another fantastic job with this film. This was the film that made him more of a household name and opened the way for him to direct bigger name properties such as the upcoming Blade Runner sequel, Blade Runner 2049, I think. I don't remember the title. And he's going to be working on the remake for Frank Herbert's Dune. Now, on to the music. Normally, I don't have too many bad things to say about film scores. I can usually get into almost any film score, and most of the ones that I've talked about on this channel have been either great or okay or a little mediocre, but I can still understand it. I think that this will be a first for my channel. I absolutely hate the score. It is so stupid. There are times where it is passable, but frequently the score can be summed up in a few words. Creepy, satanic, and, like I said, stupid. It feels like it sets the wrong tone, focusing a lot of the human vocals on doing vocalizations to an annoying degree, and in some more suspenseful scenes, the score seems to focus on one big note, a short pause, then another big note, and then repeat for a little bit. Seeing this movie twice in theaters, the score at the time actually blew out my fucking eardrums because it was so loud. Now, some may argue that it's a unique and original score, and that it's great in a sense. If that's your opinion, good for you. Honestly, I'm honestly glad that you can enjoy the score. I'm glad that you can get some semblance of enjoyment out of it. But for me, it's just downright annoying. I mean, okay, this isn't really a spoiler. The end credits, no end credits scene or anything, but just the music that starts, it's just some little, it sounded like a little girl going dun 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 dun. It's a bunch of vocalization. It just didn't sit right, because I'm trying to sit there thinking about, you know, what this movie meant to me, and I just have somebody making random noises in my ear. One last negative that I have about this film is actually in the pacing, because it was a little bit choppy in the beginning and occasionally throughout the middle, and that can honestly affect the enjoyment of your film, especially on your first watch, and it can actually make it the enjoyment lessen. However, after a rewatch or two, your enjoyment of it will either increase or decrease depending on how you actually viewed the movie as, if you viewed it as good or bad. To recap, Arrival is an instant science fiction classic for film, with very good performances, an interesting premise, and beautiful visuals and cinematography, but sadly, it does have a couple of issues, especially with how certain characters are written, slight pacing problems, and an extremely annoying musical score. Despite these flaws, I still think that Arrival is worthy of a blue lightsaber. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me ramble on and on. Now, I must ask you, what did you guys think of Arrival? Did you love it, hate it, were you indifferent, haven't seen it? What were its strengths? What were its weaknesses? I want to know. I welcome new perspectives. And hell, if you can convince me that the score is actually pretty good, then go ahead. I will be very impressed with whatever you guys say about it. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more reviews and content. There's always more to come. And for other ways to support the channel, check check out in the description down below. Thank you guys once again for watching, and farewell until the next video. Bye.